Are the Houston Texans the NFL's hottest team? Embrace debate. We'll talk about that. A Texans hater that's gone under the radar because of what he said. I feel like he should go above the radar. And on top of that, we take a look at last night's Rockets-Nuggets game. I'm Paul Gallant, and this is the Gallant Says podcast on Tuesday, December 16th, 2025. Hit it. Get it on.
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people are.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to say.
You got f***ing grow, mother. Are you kidding me?
Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Oi! Welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast live on YouTube at Paul Gallant. Like and subscribe. Twitch at Gallant Says. Give me a follow. I'd appreciate a sub. Instagram at Sports Gallant. X at Gallant Says Pod. TikTok at Gallant Says. Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. We do this thing every single day of the week. Weekdays at 7 a.m. Central Time. Are the Houston Texans the hottest team in the National Football League? Before we dive into that, let me share with you the words of a wise philosopher. Me mind on fire, me soul on fire, feeling hot, hot, hot. Many say that the term hot was invented by philosopher Buster Poindexter in his song Hot, 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 a song that was released on June 19th, 1987. Watch the music video. It's something else. You definitely do not expect the person singing the song to look the way that he does. But the Texans are on a roll. They've won 6 games in a row. I think there's a strong argument to be made that they have the best defense in the National Football League. Their offense, hopefully, will continue to improve by the end of the season, but they're going to need to clean up some things in the red zone. How do they compare to the other teams that are red hot in the National Football League, though? I threw out a couple of questions. We'll get to some of your responses on a variety of social media platforms. Put it on X, put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook. There's a couple of other teams that are in the conversation with the Texans. First off, you got the Denver Broncos. They've won 11 in a row. And I'd argue that their win on Sunday over the Green Bay Packers, 34-26, might be their most impressive. I say that because they did it against a pretty good defense. The Packers defense has been good this season, and Bo Nix looked awesome. 302 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. I don't trust Bo Nix on a week-to-week basis, but I do think that he has some talent. And it'll be very interesting to see if he can keep that up against an also good Jaguars defense on Sunday. It's the big showdown while we're stuck with Texans and That's not going to be a fun game. I'd actually rather watch Broncos-Jaguars. And you are hoping for the opposite of that awesome 1996 playoff game where the Jaguars pulled off an incredible upset. If you want to nitpick the Broncos, you could say, well, they only beat the Texans when Davis Mills was in after they knocked C.J. Stroud out and didn't do so well with it. Yeah, they have not won with style points this season. For the most part, outside of a blowout win against the Cincinnati Bengals and a blowout win of the Dallas Cowboys, we're talking one-score game after one-score game after one-score game. And Bo Nix has struggled in some of those games. The other team that I think is in the same category as the Denver Broncos are the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tip my hand there a little bit. The Jaguars, of late, have won 6 of 7. They obviously had that 19-point collapse in the fourth quarter against the Texans with Davis Mills under center. Like the Broncos, they have not been beating up the best teams along the way. an overtime 1-point win over the god-awful Raiders, an overtime 3-point win over the Arizona Cardinals. Lawrence had some issues in those games. Blowout of the Titans. They beat the Colts after Daniel Jones essentially died. And then they just smoked the New York Jets in a game where Trevor Lawrence threw for 5 touchdowns and I think ran for 1 more. I wouldn't get too excited about beating the shit out of the New York Jets, but Jaguars fans are getting chesty again. These two teams, the Broncos and the Jaguars, are certainly hot. You cannot deny that. You can't say that they're anything other than that. And honestly, I think if you're a Texans fan, you can't talk that much shit about them. You can't say, Jaguars, you blew a 19-point lead against the Texans. Well, they did have a 19-point lead on the Texans, yes, with Davis Mills, and they did beat you earlier in the year, as did the Broncos. You kind of have to keep quiet. You kind of have to zip it, you know? We'll see what happens the next time around for Texans-Broncos if it happens, Texans-Jaguars if it happens, but you gotta zip the lips, at least for now. They are hot. But what kind of hot are they? I don't think they're the hottest team in the NFL. I think they're Galveston hot. What does that mean? You're probably thinking to yourself, it kind of sounds disparaging to the community of Galveston. Well, I mean, think about it from this perspective. Go to Galveston, you might be having a good old time. But are you seeing, the talent that you see in this city? All of which falls behind my strong, powerful, independent woman, love of my life girlfriend. A beaut, that one be. They're Galveston hot. The Broncos, the Jaguars. It's tough to say that they're the hottest thing. But if you're down south, pretty damn hot. Maybe they have a chest tattoo. I know guys aren't the biggest fans of that. Listen, to each their own. Maybe they've got a not so impressive set of bolt-ons, and they're very clearly bolt-ons. Listen, I'm just throwing things out there. The Broncos and Jaguars are hot, but they're Galveston hot. So what does that make the Houston Texans? I think the Houston Texans has glasses and a ponytail hot. How many people have seen the movie Not Another Teen Movie? This is, I think, the first movie that Chris Evans starred in. It's a parody movie of every single teen rom-com from the 80s and early 90s. It's hilarious. I think it still holds up. Though you probably have to understand those movies, which are very dated, to get what all the jokes are being made about. But specifically, Not Another Teen Movie makes fun of a movie called She's All That, where a quarterback, a popular guy, makes a bet with a couple of his friends and says, I'm going to turn a girl who's not that hot into the hottest girl in school. And he does it with a girl who is actually conventionally beautiful, but she looks a little nerdy. So they do a version of this in Not Another Teen Movie with a character called Janie Briggs. If you've never seen the clip, here it is, Not Another Teen Movie.
Not Janie Briggs. Guys, she's got glasses and a ponytail.
And it's funny because they had just been making comparisons to other people that Chris Evans, the character here, has to turn into the belle of the ball. The Texans has glasses and a ponytail hot. What are the glasses? What is the ponytail? It is the red zone offense. I do not trust it. I don't think you should trust it either. I hope it gets better by the end of the year, but you got 3 games left. It probably is what it is, you know? It probably is what it is. So the Texans are glasses with a ponytail hot. But they're not the hottest team in the NFL. And I know a lot of people are going to get mad about me saying that. I put a poll out there. I think it's a little bit skewed because of all my Houston followers. At least the ones that I did on Facebook and the ones that I did on Instagram. We'll get to the one on Twitter, which blew up. I was surprised by how much it blew up. But they're not the hottest team in the National Football League. And you're going to have to twist my arm and perhaps break it to get me to say that this team isn't the hottest. The absolute hottest. The hottest team in the National Football League is the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are Anna DeArmas. I was on my Instagram reels today, and that strong, powerful, independent woman, there's a video of her just walking down a hallway with thick accent saying, "Hi, I'm Anna DeArmas. What's your name?" It's a terrible impersonation of it. Listen, we try our best. Do not call me culturally insensitive. Don't do it, please. I can't be canceled. Anna DeArmas. A strong, powerful, independent woman. Almost as hot as my girlfriend. That's what the LA Rams are. Take a look at what they've done this year. They have beaten the shit out of a lot of teams. They handled the Houston Texans in week 1. Defensively, I think they're pretty impressive. Offensively, Matt Stafford is having an MVP caliber year. The Rams have won, I'm doing a little math here, 8 of 9. Yes, they lost to the Carolina Panthers. Yes, Devontae Adams has some sort of hamstring injury. It's like Anna DeArmas's "I dated 63-year-old man Tom Cruise for some fucking reason" phase. But that's the hottest team in the league. They have scored in their last 2 weeks a combined 86 points. I think this is the team that's likely going to win the Super Bowl. We will see how they fare against the Seattle Seahawks Thursday Night Football. I will be rooting for the Seahawks because I was there for a little bit of time. But the Rams, not the Texans, not the Broncos, not the Jaguars, are the hottest team in the National Football League. And they should be your Super Bowl favorite. I could understand an argument for the Buffalo Bills, but I think Josh Allen is the hottest player in the National Football League. God damn. What he did to the Patriots, my Patriots on Sunday, super impressive. Not impressive in that game, Drake May. Drake May. Feeling hot, hot, hot. Oh, shabum-ba-da-bum-bum. Feeling hot, hot, hot. I don't know what the hell Buster Poindexter was thinking with this song. It's quite the song. So I would say, one more time, before we move on to what you guys have to say, the Broncos and Jaguars are Galveston hot.
Hansel, so hot right now. Hansel.
The Houston Texans are has glasses hot.
They're not Janie Briggs. Guys, she's got glasses and a ponytail.
And the Rams are Anna DeArmas. Let's see what you guys had to say. You can join along YouTube at Paul Gallant. Like and subscribe. Twitch at Gallant Says. Give me a follow, but I'd really appreciate a sub. X at Gallant Says Pod. Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. And the TikTok at Gallant Says as well. We got restricted on TikTok again. What a surprise. Shout out to all the support. Let's get some more comments here. People are coming up with the Texans nickname. Steve Beckholt says, "Screw the Rams." That's the ultimate Texan. Look, man, that week 1 game, if Daria Gunbawale doesn't fumble, you'd have the upper hand on the hottest team in the league. But sadly, the Texans have lost 3 of their 4 games against the current hottest teams in the league. Do you actually believe that the Jaguars are going to go on a deep playoff run, that the Broncos are going to go on a deep playoff run? I don't know. I don't feel that confident in either of those 2 teams. I don't. Ghostly Ranger says, "I would love a Rams-Texans rematch in the Super Bowl." would be an incredible finish by the scriptwriters to end the season with the matchup that started. Don't get into the script conspiracy theory stuff. Robert Parker says the Rams beat the Texans with a fumble the last 5 minutes of the game. Not great separation. Yeah, and if Daria Gunbawali had been a little more careful with the football, I mean, they might have scored there. But then again, we are talking about this team's red zone offense, which has been an issue all season, you know? Robert Parker's talking about playoff scenarios. We'll get to that a little bit later in the week. Let's see what people were saying on social media. Who is the hottest team in the National Football League?
Hansel. So hot right now. Hansel.
First on X. This post got a lot more responses than I thought it would be. I asked, who is the hottest team in the National Football League? About 75% of responses that I got, around 65, said that the Denver Broncos are the hottest team in the league. 12-2 record, clinched playoffs first, beat the Texans head-to-head, beat the Packers, beat the Eagles, beat the Chiefs, beat the Cowboys. A lot of replies are mocking the question that I asked. Are the Texans the hottest team in the National Football League? About 10 replies on X, 11%, said the Texans are the hottest. 7 replies said the Jaguars, about 8%. Other teams, the Bills, the Rams mentioned as well. So heavily skewed on X towards the Broncos. On Facebook, I asked the same question at Paul Gallant Sports. Someone joked the New York Jets. Michael Tinsley said Houston's top problem is the Jags. I'd be a little nervous if we play Jacksonville in the playoff game. I agree from this perspective. I think the Jaguars' defense is solid. I know they gave up 19 points against Davis Mills in the fourth quarter, but I think that's a good defense. I think their strength is their defense, not their offense, which is crazy to think because Travis Hunter hasn't helped either side of the football out since he's been out for a really long time. Gregory Ray says Denver. Mark Williams says the Texans in Denver. And a couple of people said D's. I know what you're trying to do there. Talking about your nuts being the hottest team in the National Football League. Come on now. Let's be adults. Stop being children out here. I sing this song a lot whenever I'm filibustering. 90% of people on Instagram said that the Texans are the hottest team in the league. One person said Denver. 10% of people said no. So, Ghostly Ranger says rank the teams you'd least like to play in the playoffs. Number one, I don't want to see the Texans play the Patriots because I grew up rooting for the Patriots and I don't want to feel awkward watching the game. I don't want to feel awkward watching the game. Helps me out if the Texans do well. I want everybody who follows the Texans to actually see a team make it to a Super Bowl, but I grew up rooting for the Patriots. I cannot deny my blood. The last couple of times that I have watched Patriots-Texans, I have felt torn. I have generally been more angry if the Texans disappoint than I've been happy about the Patriots winning, but they haven't played each other in a playoff game in a really long time. This is one of those games where I think I'm going to go into it and I'm not really 100% sure how I'm going to authentically feel. Publicly, I will say I'm rooting for the Patriots because I cannot betray yet another team that I grew up rooting for, but I really want just both teams to have fun. Both teams to have fun. I do not want to see the Texans go up in the AFC playoffs against, he said as he filibustered slowly, ever so slowly. I don't want the Ravens to make the playoffs. So the Patriots hopefully take care of business against Baltimore Sunday night. Going to Denver would be hard. Denver's defense is very good. How will C.J. Stroud do in the cold? He didn't do great against the Chiefs. He had some great plays individually, but I graded that performance a D because of all the 3-and-outs in the second half. Got to take advantage. They're shutting down another team's offense. It would suck to lose to the Jaguars. So I would say, from a Texans fan perspective, going up against the Jaguars in Jacksonville to lose again, that would be the worst. I want to see the Bills, and I feel pretty good about the Texans' chances against the Chargers, who are scrappy, who have a really good defense, but have no one to protect Joe Burrow. So I want to play the Chargers more than I'd want to play the Bills. Perhaps Josh Allen figures out the Texans his third time against them in less than a calendar year. I'd love to see the Texans go up against the Steelers, who I think are absolute frauds. The last night's game against the Dolphins was more about the Dolphins finally cratering after an impressive rally to at least get back into the in the hunt graphic. I don't want to see the Ravens. I don't want to see the Patriots because it'll be tough for me. Jaguars, it would be embarrassing to lose to them. And against the Broncos, you're probably going to have to play on the road. Aquar Pilionia in 3995 says, what if the Texans crush the Patriots 50-2? Well, then the Letterman jacket curse is officially over. You know? All right. You know, we pay attention to a lot of comments on the Gallant Says podcast. It's probably the most interactive podcast on the internet, and a lot of people are worked up about some of the things that I've been saying about the Houston Texans recently. And by the way, this is actually a good thing. I like that we finally have fans that are perceiving any honest, valid criticism of the Texans as hating. That means that people give a shit again. And it took a while for us to get back to this point. But I think people in the midst of this 6-game winning streak are caring about the Texans on a level that they did not care about the Texans during their 9-game winning streak in 2018. I think beating the Chiefs really helps on that front. So I love that people care. And I'm never going to tell you how to fan. But I do hate that there is an expectation for people that if you've been following for a while, you very much know that they are perfectionists, perhaps to their own fault, to the point where they can't actually enjoy anything that they do. That is me. I blame that on going to private schools growing up. I blame it on growing up watching the greatest football dynasty that will ever be in the New England Patriots. I have very high expectations. It's tough to please me. Doesn't mean I'm a Karen when I go to a restaurant. I'm too much of a pussy to send food back, to send a drink back. The girlfriend told me recently you could actually do that. Wow, what a novel concept. I feel bad, though, and I'm wondering, are they going to spit in my food? Oh, God, what am I going to do? But bringing it back, I like that people care, but people are getting a little pissy at some of the stuff that I've been saying. Courtney Nichols on YouTube said, you remain a problem with your negativity. You need to get with Landry Locker and become best friends. You guys would be a perfect match. Yeah, we actually are a pretty good match when we do a show together. James Cook agreed with her. I agree. 6-game winning streak, and you can't find not one positive things to say. Double negative, so that means that I did find positives to say. Let's proofread your words when you comment on the internet if you don't want me to make fun of said words. This is in a video where I said that CJ Stroud had an awesome day, and I'm really happy for Jawar Jordan, but whatever. People are going to hear what they want to hear. Jonathan Guerrero posted this on Facebook. How about you go do something else, man? Instead of bashing on a team, you should hype them up. But it sounds like you're just a hater. That's why you don't have no views on any of your videos. Well, also, Facebook's a hellscape, and the only way to get views on Facebook is to post some bullshit AI slop. Some AI slop that some dumb, no offense, older folk is going to look at and say, unbelievable. The latest one I saw today was Cal McNair makes ticket prices free for the next Texans game. And some people actually believe this shit. Good God. Good God. Get off that app. It's fucking hellscape. But if you're watching along, we appreciate you. Just like the Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. Okay? But for all these wham-whams out there, for the flock of wham-whams who are super upset about what I'm saying about the Houston Texans, guys, you got to get it together because you're about to hear something you're really going to hate. You're going to hate this. I can't believe what this noted Houston Texans hater said. I can't believe it. I can't believe that this guy is calling out the best defense in the National Football League. Get a load of this guy.
It sounds crazy for me to even ask this, but I think it speaks to how. But I think it speaks to how elite y'all have been defensively. For you all to, give up 20 points, do you feel like that bothered defensive players based on their own standards?
Unbelievable. Can you believe that member of the liberal media asked that question about the Texans defense being disappointed in the level of play that they had on Sunday? I'm kidding. That's not the comment. Can you believe this guy's hating on your Houston Texans defense?
From that game, defensively, that game was not up to our standard. So there are a ton of things that we can improve upon, a ton of things that we need to get better at, things that we worked that we didn't play up to our standard defensively. So we have a lot to go out and improve.
Unbelievable. What a hater. That guy saying that the Texans defense could have been better after their performance against the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. Can you believe that fucking guy said that? Unbelievable. It's crazy. Am I taking crazy pills? What a hater. Why is he going after the Houston Texans? He's just a hater. He thrives on the negativity. I mean, D'Amico Ryans is, of course, going to look at what the Texans did on Sunday. And I've been loving this out of him recently, where he's actually saying, yeah, there are things to improve. It's not all great. I've been waiting for this for a while. Just say this to us. We know you're saying it behind closed doors, but when you say something else to us, when meeting with us and say, hey, focus on the positivity, that fucking gets annoying. It gets old. It feels like it's gaslighting. He's been a lot better on this, and perhaps there was some sort of conversation that he had with his PR staff or maybe with members of the local media. I like hearing him being somebody who says, yeah, we could do better. Growing up, throughout my time in school, my parents would always tell me if I got an A-, you can do better, which is factually true. And perhaps that standard helped my sister get into Harvard and me get into the best broadcasting school in the country. Maybe, just maybe. Hold things to a higher standard. But a lot of people, if I say that, if somebody who covers a team says that, that's hating. I mean, soft. Oh, I can't believe it. They said the red zone offense needs to be better. It fucking sucks. They got CJ Stroud. Don't we hold him up to a high standard? Oh, well, he's hating on the team. God, come on, people. By the way, here's D'Amico Ryans saying essentially what I had to say about the offense when asked about it at yesterday's press conference.
In terms of the other side of the ball, a lot of guys were talking about the red zone and how they could have been more efficient out there. What are some things you're seeing? Kind of a season-long deal, but what are some things you see specifically to improve on there?
First thing, when we get into the red zone, we got to eliminate going backwards. I said, where we are in the red zone, we got to make sure we're targeting the right people in the run game, making sure we get a hat on the hat when we are trying to run the football. It starts there, just being on our assignments, doing what we're supposed to do. And, from operations standpoint, we got to be able to execute. Like, just overall as an offense, it's not okay just to get into the red zone. Like, we want to be able to score touchdowns. So there's still a lot left out there for us offensively as well.
What a hater. D'Amico Ryans hates the team he coaches. That's what a lot of you sound like. I grew up rooting for the greatest football dynasty that'll ever be. And I grew up listening to a sports radio show up there, Felger and Maz. I still listen to them, where the lead host of the show, Michael Felger, would constantly find things to nitpick at with the New England Patriots. And he did it in a, I thought, fantastic way. Some people believe he was trolling all the time. I think the guy just held the team to a higher standard. And that always kept me level-headed. You guys have got to get used to a team that's great. getting called out for its warts. Because those are things that need to get better. Why are you so mad about somebody calling those issues out? What do you want to hear instead? Sunshine and rainbows. The Texans are the greatest thing that's ever happened to the world. You want me to sing? I'll sing. I'll sing. But it's surprising. Like, you guys were all fucking out on the team after the first 3 weeks of the year. You didn't care. Now they won 6 in a row. I can't believe you're hating on the team. Fucker, I've been here the whole time. Where the fuck were you? It shouldn't bother me. I'm not telling you how to fan, but you guys got to sack up a little bit. This is some soft puppy poop bullshit. Oh, you're a hater. You're a hater. Well, what the fuck is D'Amico? The guy who's telling his team, we could be better. And by the way, you want a coach that says that. You don't want a fucking Hugh Jackson out there who's taking a look at Hard Knocks when the Browns were the subject of Hard Knocks and say, man, we look really good with some of these clips. You don't want someone like that. So what's the difference between a head coach calling out his team and the people who cover the team calling out the team for the same thing? Please explain that to me, because I don't understand it. I really don't. I'm not that negative, by the way. And I would say the same thing about Landry Locker. I listen to Cody and Landry's SNL Texans podcast. It's the best one out there regularly. And they bring up valid criticisms with the team. They're not unfair about it, and they're not trolling. Sometimes Jeremy Branham trolls. I love Jeremy. This is a market that is rather kind to the hometown football team. I think it's wild that valid criticisms of a defense that could have been better against the Cardinals. They didn't really get to Jacoby Brissett. That was a missed Jacoby Brissett throw away from potentially giving up 28 points in that game. You know, Lassiter made a great catch on that ball, but he was not in the best position. That should have been a touchdown throw right there. There's things they need to clean up. Kamari Lazard would tell you that. The pass rush will tell you that. Will Anderson did not seem particularly happy in the locker room after Sunday's game, and I'm guessing it had to do with the fact that he only had like one pressure on the stat sheet. Or maybe it was because he got poked in the eye. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Will Anderson's always such a happy and jovial guy in front of the microphone. I'm assuming he thought that the defense could have done a little bit better, which is awesome. You want that out of your team. You want that out of your coach. You want that out of your players. So, like, fuck it all. Fuck off, guys. Like, you gotta be better. You gotta be tougher. Those things need to get cleaned up. If you want to see this team go where they've never gone before, which I would like to see happen, it helps me out professionally, then you need to see them clean up and should call out the issues that are there. Anyway, that's life. What else do we have? I think there's more Texans audio to get to. This is more D'Amico Ryans talking about the offense that is having real issues in the red zone.
Some teams have better offenses than others. How much does what the team's potential firepower has coming into the game, how much does that factor into how you evaluate how well the defense played?
How well the defense plays, to me, has nothing at all to do with the offense and their firepower. It's all about our standard, our level of play, and what I expect from our guys every single snap. It doesn't matter to me who we play against, what they've done in the past, or who they are. To me, it's a standard that we play with that's you're going to operate as the best, or if you don't operate that way, then it's not good enough.
Hater. What a hater. Unbelievable. Why won't he say anything nice about us? Why? 'Cause we lost it all. Nothing lasts forever. I'm sorry. I can't be perfect. You sound like fucking Simple Plan. Oh, my dad hates me. Why doesn't he love me? We live in a really nice house in the suburbs. I got a room with a computer and a TV too, and my dad thinks I'm kind of a pussy. What the fuck's up with that? Why doesn't he respect me? Like, that's you. That's you. D'Amico's a hater. Like, I'd love to see you keep that same energy with the head coach. You people. So we'll be posting this segment. I hope they come back. Very curious about what's next for the Texans with Jawar Jordan, who had that 100-yard game. Here's D'Amico Ryans talking about Jawar. This is an interesting answer when asked about Jawar finding the holes that the offensive line was creating for him. Cody Stutz asked this question.
For the most part, I thought Jawar made good decisions with the way he was running the football. We still can clean up some of our blocking assignments and how we're blocking. For the most part, he made some good cuts. He was able to hit an explosive play on him because he made a good cut. Just him slashing downfield, taking what was there. I thought he did a really good job of benefiting off of some of the good blocks that we did have. He did a good job of that.
It doesn't sound like he loved what Jawar Jordan did after watching the film. Maybe he's trying to keep Jawar Jordan level-headed so he doesn't turn into the second coming of Jonas Gray. For those who don't know, Jonas Gray was a Patriots running back who had a huge game against the Indianapolis Colts. He was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, and I don't think he ever did anything again because he had a shitty week of practice or something like that, and I think the Patriots benched him. And it's a shame. Like, hey, don't get too full of yourself. You have a big week. It might be the only big week you ever had, but you got to keep focusing it. I'd like to see a little Jawar Jordan. I heard Cody and Landry talking about using more Jawar instead of Nick Chubb when Nick Chubb gets healthy. Will be very interesting to see how they handle that. But that does not sound like the most sold head coach when asked about Jawar Jordan. Maybe he's trying to be coy and make things difficult for the Raiders to prepare for the Texans. But I mean, it's the fucking Raiders, so I don't know if. I'm going to go that far with that. More D'Amico Ryans talking about Jawar Jordan and potentially getting more touches.
We'll cross that bridge when it gets there. But I think more so for right now in this game on yesterday is just, giving Jawar his praise for what he was able to accomplish. I thought he did an outstanding job, again, of taking advantage of the opportunity that was presented to him. And he did a great job of, gaining over 100 yards, rushing, making some explosive runs for us. So it's just a credit to Jawar for right now. We'll deal with the other issue, when we get there. But for right now, credit to Jawar.
So he's giving him credit, but it doesn't sound like it's a lock that he's going to get more looks. I hope he gets more looks. I think he earned them. I also think Jalen Noel earned more looks. Fuck, whenever that guy touches the ball, he makes something happen. But does D'Amico Ryans hate Jawar Jordan? Just being consistent with some of you out there. The unfortunate news for the Texans, Mario Edwards, who's been a really, I think, big part of the Texans pass rush over the last couple of seasons. He's out for the year. I think it's a pectoral injury. D'Amico Ryans made that announcement yesterday, so some depth issues for the defensive line. The defensive line's still loaded, but how are they going to do as far as creating pressure with a four-man rush? They were very good at this for the majority of the season, but the last couple of weeks it has slowed down a little bit. Does this potentially fix things? Did anyone see this clip? This is from CBS. A Houston Texans legend was asked this question by Antonio Pierce before Patriots-Bills, with Phillip Rivers making his return to the NFL on the mind.
Could you go out today and play a game?
I could, especially a third down situational pass rusher, absolutely. Now, tomorrow would be hell. Tomorrow would be hell. But I could do it. I don't know how great I'd be. I still run and do sprints. I still work out, so I could do it.
A full game? No subs? All 3 downs?
No, not all 3 downs full game. 65 plays would put me into the ground, brother. I'd be down for the count. No, you want me to come in for 20 pass rush snaps right now? Absolutely. I'll give you a sack, no question.
JJ's doing a great job in the booth. Very curious if Ian Eagle and JJ take over the #1 spot on CBS. Obviously, a lot of money invested in Nance and Romo, but they are the best call right now that does not involve Kevin Harlan, for those who care about broadcasting. It would be cool to see JJ back. I don't expect JJ to come back, so let's calm down, everybody. Keep it in your pants. The Rockets had a game last night. They lost a classic. I've watched the end of 2 games this season. I've not been watching a lot of Rockets basketball, just to be perfectly honest. Once football season's over, I will focus more on the Rockets. But they lost 128-125 in overtime to Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets. Goddamn, Jokic is awesome. 39 points in the game. 5 of 9 from outside. I think he's shooting a career high from 3 this year. He had a triple-double, 15 rebounds, 10 assists. He did foul out of this game. They also got 35 points from Jamal Murray. This is a team that's on the Rockets level, as far as the Western Conference. There's the Thunder on the top tier, and the Rockets and the Thunder, I think, are jockeying for position after Oklahoma City. This was a great game. Alperen Şengün, holy shit, man. This guy's improved a lot. He's so much stronger. He's a lot more creative when it comes to finding ways to get open. 33 points last night, 10 boards, 10 assists. Baby Jokic goes up against Jokic, and he looked pretty good. Hell, he's even getting a little bit better about complaining as much as he can be. So loved watching Şengün last night. Reed Shepherd, a lot of confidence. 5 of 17 from the field last night, but a lot of confidence out there. It was a great game. There were some ticky-tack calls at the end that I know a lot of Rockets fans are pissed off about. There was one in particular where on an inbound play right before the end of regulation, Amen Thompson got twisted up with a player on the Nuggets. I think it was incidental, but it doesn't matter. Like, his shin hit the back of the Nuggets player's heel, so he ate shit. I don't know if this is the reason that Ime Udoka had this to say about the referees after the game, but he was not a happy camper. Here he is with video courtesy of the Space City home network after last night's Rockets loss.
Part of the BPL, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, just in general, I think it's poorly officiated game I've seen in a long time. 2 have no business being out there, and the crew chief is acting starstruck. So you're seeing all kind of inconsistent calls, and I'm sure we should have got a few more texts.
What do you say to your team when a game is being called the way that it was tonight?
Keep being who we are. We're not going to adjust to poor officials. So we're going to do what we do, and hopefully they can adjust and call it the right way.
Udoka's going to get fined for that. I will say, though, I like this. I do not want the Rockets to get distracted, sidetracked, and rattled by calls that they don't agree with. And that's been my biggest frustration was Alperen Şengün. In totality, he's always been, the hands always go up whenever a call happens. He throws the hands up now, but he doesn't talk to the referees. That's progress. Loved what I saw from Şengün last night. This team is very entertaining. That was a hell of a game. And these 2 teams play each other again in Denver on Saturday, 4 o'clock. Very busy Saturday for sports. The girlfriend and I might wonder what we're going to do. Hey, babe, I think you're watching on the Instagram side of things. You can watch this show a variety of different ways. 7 a.m. Central Time, YouTube at Paul Gallant, Twitch at Gallant Says, Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports, Instagram at Sports Gallant, TikTok at Gallant Says. We got restricted again. We got to figure this out. I've been trying to talk with TikTok support. They keep on giving me some fucking robot. This clanker is not giving me any help. Please like this video wherever you watch it. If you really care, go around and like every single one of these videos. Give it a subscription. Tell your friends about it in case they don't know what the fuck I'm doing these days. It's available after the fact wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Subscribe rate, review the Gallant Says podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I appreciate you guys so much. I got to run doing some TV on Fox 26 in about 30 minutes or so, so I got to run over to go do that until tomorrow at 7 a.m. So long, farewell.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.